So Frazetta Girls will release a Vamperilla here very soon, like the 11th. And after getting a couple of these figures, I have to ask, and I think in all honesty, anybody that's interested in getting said figure has to ask as well. Let's talk about this. Now, I would like to start by saying that so far, I've seen nothing from Frazetta Girls that makes me feel like the figure won't be good. But I now have covered Tigra, talked about that, covered Dark Wolf, talked about that. I have bought the Norseman. I'm waiting. A new figure is announced. Now, I skipped on Variation, Dark Wolf. It does not bother me that he wasn't perfect anime. That doesn't bother me, and I know he's not an anime. It doesn't bother me that he wasn't perfectly from the animation. They did a couple of things different with him, but in all honesty, while I noticed it, I didn't notice it enough that I was going to bring it up and complain about it. Just simply did not bother me in that way. So I moved on. And then they were like, hey, a lot of people complained. Here's the variant. He has the fur. There you go. Okay. Everybody got what they wanted. I did not have to buy another one. I was perfectly happy with one Dark Wolf. I'm perfectly happy with one Tigra. So far, everything's good. The Norseman looks solid. And then they say Vamperilla. Well, let's go over to Frazetta Girls real quick. In terms of their Instagram, I just feel like this will be the easiest way. Here's the Instagram right here. And of course, this is Frazetta art that we're about to talk about. So, yes, these girls are pretty. Okay? Let's just be honest about the situation in general, all right? But let's check this out. Here it is. There's the Frazetta Girls right there. And there's only one part that I really want to bring up. So I want to take us over to Frazetta Girls, the actual website. That's where we are right now. And there's a reason that we're leaving, because there's only one picture that I want from the actual Instagram that we will talk about. So over here, this is the figure that we're looking at right here. It comes with this is awesome. The little grave sites and everything. I think that is really cool. And I had a Vamperilla years ago that actually came with something very similar to this, so this is kind of interesting. There she is right here. I'd say the face is very good. Of course, the body proportions look good. We're using the same kind of figure design that we used for the legs on Tigra. We have two hairs. We have the swappable faces. One with the blood face. We have the skull. Things of that nature. This is all pretty cool. And multiple different hands. And the red fingernails. That's good because a lot of times we will see figures where even if that figure is known for having something like that, they will not go out of their way to do it. But it's here. Here she is right here. Let's get an actual good solid look at her right here. Solid face sculpt. The bat actually fits the fingers, it looks like. Not a terrible pose. Looks like she's walking pretty good and everything like that. Let's move forward from there. Here we go. This is with the other hair. Different one of the faces. She's kind of moving forward. She's got the one arm back. She's got the other arm out. And this, she's got the decent angle and everything in terms of the way the hips go out. This is actually what caught my attention, is the next picture right here. This. I know what they're going for. We all know. Anybody that's ever read Vamperilla knows what we're going for here with the nice Vamperilla sitting sexy pose, okay? The way they do these figures, and I noticed this almost right off the bat when I tried to put Tigra on the Bone Throne. there's a reason she's sitting awkward. They decided to do something with the butt, which makes the butt look fantastic on these figures, but also seems to cause a movement problem, which we have discussed on the channel before. Sometimes in order to gain certain looks, you have to lose certain abilities. Well, there's another Vamperilla out there, and this is from the Loose Collector Executive Replica, and that's this figure right here. I know the pictures on this site never really come out perfectly, but it'll give us more than what we need to see here. This is also very solid. It's very solid. One could argue, depending on the look that you're going for, this is either more accurate, like where the costume is a little bit bigger. It's not as skimpy. It's a different era, definitely. And then one could argue that you prefer this more, where it's very much the straight-up string bikini. That is not necessarily what I'm arguing. That is. I see the way she's sitting here. And I have one of the Executive Replica figures already. I have the Red Sonja. So I know the problems in movement, as well as the problems in certain other fields as well. There are certain movement problems that those figures have. All figures do. Let's put that out there right now. I am not trying to attack anything. All figures have articulation issues. And if they don't, if they move too perfectly, sometimes they look way too much like action figures and they don't look good. I know that's weird to say for us collecting action figures, but it's true. Now right here we have this kind of pose where she's standing up on the gargoyle. She's got one foot up and she's got the two hands out like that, and she strikes a very, very nice figure. Now I will say I'm noticing with the hair is always this blown in the wind hair if you were to go out of your way to get the Executive Replicas Vampirella. There's two hair choices in the Vampirella from Frazetta Girls. But the Frazetta Girls has one problem that I've noticed, and that is that I do not believe that she can take this kind of pose. This I don't think is possible. This is a great picture, okay? And it is Frazetta artwork. It is a fantastic picture. It is one of the absolute ways that I view this character, okay? But I'm looking at it. And this pose right here, I don't think she can do it. I think that is probably as close as they will come. I'm not saying this is bad, but I am saying that realistically there's something to think about here. And I do have a decision to make. See, on the 11th, they will release this figure. And I so far have kept up with all the Frazetta Girl releases. There haven't been that many, to be fair. I have the Norseman pre-ordered. I have Dark Wolf. I skipped on the second Dark Wolf. I did buy the Tigra. And if there's a variant on Tigra, I probably will not be going after it. Now they release Vamperilla. I never bought the Executive Replica Vamperilla. And now I see this one. And I can't help but sit here and wonder if I should get it. Is it dumb to want both? Now, that's a weird question for a collector. I mean, I understand. It is. It's a weird question because collectors, we do this to ourselves almost all the time. We do this crap where we buy multiple of the same character or whatever, and we don't even stop to think about it. But I am the kind of person that prefers to have a definitive on-the-shelf figure. This is the Spider-Man I want. This is the Batman I like. And I'm not going to say that I haven't gotten multiple Batmans in that aspect. That has very blatantly happened. I'm not going to say anything about that, but it does hit me that if I jump on this on the 11th, is it worth it? Because if I buy, Vamperilla is not one of those other characters that we've talked about. Okay? She's one of those oddities that certain people are interested in. She's not going to be a main selling, she, like Tigra. Okay? That's just the way it is. Millions of people know Spider-Man. Thousands of people know Vampirella. You get what I'm getting at, right? This is one of those things like Red Sonja. I'm very interested to put on my shelf. But I want it to be good, which is the reason I'm worried about the whole fiasco with the other video that we talked about, where are we going to get a good from Boss Fight Studio? Are we going to get a good Red Sonja 112? Because man, I want a good Red Sonja 112. I absolutely want one, but I don't want it to be bad. And now I am concerned. I don't know. I almost feel stuck at this point. You want the truth of it, because I have already gone in on the Frazetta Girls line, and I like what I have. But I also did jump into the Executive Replica line. And both of these are going to be about the same. They're going to be in the $80 field. They're going to be in between $80 and $100. We know this. We're coming to expect this. The graves are really cool. That is really cool. I don't have long to make this decision. It is the 8th as of my filming date right here. And if I jump on this, that's going to be what? Tuesday? Wednesday. This thing will go live on Wednesday and I'll have to make a decision. I have the money. That's not the issue. But there is something to be considered for the posability and manipulation of said figure over what I would probably get out of the other figure. But at the same time, they are slightly different looks, slightly different ideas. Collection problems. We as collectors understand the issue. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Between the two, if you had to pick one, where do you sit? Now, I do have an interesting appreciation for the Frazetta stuff that's coming out. And the reason I think is because they really, really sell the idea that they're trying to keep the Frazetta aspect. They want, for lack of a better term, Frazetta Girls. And you can lose that by releasing said figures that simply, they don't look right because the articulation impedes the look and design that you're going for. But at the same time, when you have somebody like Vamperilla that is known for taking these like sexy sit downs and where she's on her knees, not in that way. This video is going to have troubles going through the monetization process. But like, you get the idea. When you have a character like this that takes these kinds of poses and has this kind of attitude, you want it to be able to do that. But you also want it to look right. And if you want to be perfectly honest here, I don't know if either one of these two companies has produced a perfect one. Each one of them seems to have strengths and weaknesses, noticeably. Where do you guys sit with it? I'm just interested. I just figured I'd put it out there. We don't have long to make the decision. And I don't know if anybody else is actually going after this besides me. I'm sure hundreds of people, thousands of people are going after it. But in terms of the audience that actually watches me that would have anything to say on it one way or another. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go back to fixing up the room because that's what I've been doing. And I'm going to work on those videos and whatnot. I just really wanted to say something about this new Vamperilla. And I'm going to get out of here.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.